The year was 2009. I was dominating in games like Call of Duty, Gears of War, Guitar Hero, and so many other games that reek of the Xbox 360 era. There wasn't too many things I was good at, but wasting my life away playing video games definitely felt like one of them. Today it seems that's, well, still the case, except I'm older now, and I have more responsibilities like going to work, paying my taxes, and occasionally cleaning the cat's litter. Alright. Now obviously I don't have as much free time as I used to, but I still enjoy playing video games when I do. So naturally, I decided to check out the newest Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and after launching the game and loading into a multiplayer lobby, I realized that this was the first time in a very long time that I was about to play a competitive multiplayer game. I mean, outside of gathering footage for this YouTube channel, of course. But it got me thinking, would I still be as good as the day that I stopped playing? Would I be able to recapture my glory years on Xbox Live? Well, we're about to find out. In this video, I'll be returning to two video game franchises from my past, Call of Duty and Gears of War. And I selected these two in particular because I wanted to make sure that the games I selected were games that I actually have a history with. So now the big question is this: do I still have what it takes? This is the Aging Gamer Experiment. Arguably, one of the most important components in a professional gamer's abilities is their reflex and response time. These things are crucial in games like Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, and Overwatch, to name a few. But don't let those words fool you. I am not a pro gamer, okay? I may be decent and maybe even good at certain games, but you won't see me streaming on Twitch anytime soon. I am, by every essence of the definition, an average gamer. As a matter of fact, before actually jumping into any online game, I wanted to brush off any theoretical ring rust. So I installed Aim Labs just to see where my skill level might be, and let me tell you, it was a hell of a lot lower than I thought it was. After determining my optimum mouse DPI and testing my skill in basic multiplayer abilities like tracking, switching, and flicking, I received scores that were just average at best. Nowhere near where I thought they would be. And I took these tests numerous times for weeks, by the way, trying to see if this test was just a fluke, but ultimately, it was no fluke. I just could never get past that certain threshold. But Aim Labs is just Aim Labs, right? I mean, it could only take me so far. It was time for my first true test, Call of Duty. Now, the last time I remember actively playing Call of Duty on a weekly basis was the original Call of Duty Black Ops on the Xbox 360. That was the last time I remember devoting hours of my life to this franchise. So I wouldn't call myself a die-hard Call of Duty fan, but I know enough about the game to know what the heck I'm supposed to be doing. I do my job, I play the objective, and I try my best not to get yelled at by my teammates. Now, back in the day, I distinctly remember being near the top of my team and winning a decent amount of games, so I wanted to see if I could at least replicate that. So for me to pass this test, I'll need to achieve at least a 60% win ratio across 10 games, and on top of that, I'll need to place at least in the top 3 on my team. Now, these are not best in the world metrics by any standard, but it's at least reminiscent of how I used to play when I was younger. My first match in Black Ops 6 played out pretty much like any of my Aim Lab sessions, and by that, I mean pretty decent. I came 3rd place on the losing team, and now that I think about it, it's actually worse than decent. But I mean, it's just my first game back. I'm sure my second game will be... Huh? What? Well, at least I came second this time. I mean, that's progression, right? I played a variety of game modes across these 10 games, and by game number 4, the rust had been shed completely because I actually came 1st place on the winning team, and I even got play of the game, which made me feel like I was on cloud 9. But little did I know I would be peaking here, as games 5 through 10 progressively got worse for me. Yeah, my average KD ratio was 1.33, which is apparently considered slightly above average, and my win percentage and even being in the top 3 on my team was indeed 60%, which, if you ask me, for a guy that hasn't played competitively for a very long time, I think that's actually pretty decent. But the real test came with Gears of War. Gears of War is the competitive game that I'm probably most familiar with, so it was my time to shine. I played Gears 5 for the purpose of this video, and although this particular Gears game is the one I have the least amount of experience in, I used to be an Onyx-ranked Gears of War 4 player back in 2016. The first thing I did was obviously set my controller sensitivity settings to the max because as an OG Xbox player, there's really no other way to play this game, and almost immediately I remembered why I stopped. Muscle memory wasn't the only thing that kicked in. My overpowering rage took over not even 10 minutes into my first game back. And my first game concluded with me in third place on the winning team, which was pretty decent, I guess you could say. But this story takes a turn for the worst. And before I actually get into that, I just want to say that the wait times to get into any game was almost unbearable. Sometimes I had to wait up to 10 minutes to get into a game, and most of the time I would have to back out and then just retry it altogether. This probably has something to do with the fact that there's only 300 active users playing this game at the moment, at least on Steam, and I tried to stick strictly to ranked matches for the ultimate skill test, but because there was such a low player count, on occasion I had to go and just play social to find a game. But let me tell you, I have never in my life ever performed this bad at Gears of War. I fully went into this game knowing that I would pass this test, and I was gracefully humbled by the Gears of War community. Now, in an effort to be transparent, I'm going to swallow my pride here and say that I came last place on the losing team for the majority of the games that I played. I'm not even kidding. I don't know what to say other than I just felt devastated, I felt defeated, I felt frustrated, I felt old. I felt like I was just washed, like I didn't know most of the maps. I felt like the other players were generally faster to the trigger than me, and I felt like I just didn't want to play anymore after losing 5 times in a row. And after taking some time to sulk and be depressed about my results, I came to a stunning realization about the heart and the message I wanted to portray with this video. When you jump back into a game like Gears of War, you're not just revisiting the mechanics or the maps, you're stepping into an entirely different battlefield. Back when these games were at their peak, the servers were a melting pot of players from casual fans to hardcore competitors. It was chaotic, it was unpredictable, and in a way, it was fair. But fast forward to today, and that landscape has changed dramatically. That casual crowd, they're long gone. What's left are the diehards, the veterans who've spent years perfecting every wall bounce and every headshot, and suddenly, it's not the game that feels different, it's you. That steep learning curve you're climbing, it's not because you've lost your edge, it's because the competition has evolved. The same can be said about so many other games that have a competitive edge to them, and then when you come back in thinking that you used to be good at this game too, it's easy to think that you've lost your touch, but the truth is that the competition is simply leagues ahead of where it used to be. It's leagues ahead of where you left it. You're not playing against casual gamers anymore. You're facing experts who have taken this game to a whole new level. So, yeah, I guess I failed. I guess I failed this video. But when it's all said and done, does any of this even matter? I mean, why do we try so hard to unlock every achievement in a game? Why do we try so hard to improve our leaderboard rankings or our KD ratios? At a certain point, it starts to feel more like a chore or an assignment. And I don't know about you guys, but I play video games to have fun. By the way, I'm no exception, alright? When I'm winning game after game after game, I'm having a blast. But as soon as I start consecutively losing, I'm no longer having fun anymore. In fact, I start getting frustrated. Yet I live and I die by a rule where I can't stop playing or I can't go to bed until I win one more match. But why? I know that I'm not bad at this game. That's why I get so frustrated when I lose. So what exactly am I trying to prove? I don't know. I don't have all the answers, but maybe it's a good thing that some of us gravitate to more relaxing and stress-free games as we get older, because we're just past those nights, you know, those long nights screaming at the screen trying to stay relevant in whatever ranking system that we're trying to get on top of at the moment. It almost seems non-important anymore, not when you have real-world accomplishments all around you. Things like a family or kids, a career, perhaps a new hobby that's just more fitting for an older version of you. So I'll leave you guys with this. If you've ever wondered if you're getting worse at games, or if you ever felt the weight of trying to keep up, it's not about whether you're as good as you used to be. It's about whether you're still finding something to love in the experience. And if you are, then maybe you haven't lost anything at all. Thanks for watching.